Hey guys, I'm back with another speed build. Today we're going to be doing what I'm calling the Simsing Cathedral. I'm going to first apologize for the 3 weeks of no videos. I got sick. First week I was out, didn't want to do much. The next 2 weeks I was just coughing so badly, recording audio would have been too much of a hassle. And I am now recording off of a mic instead of a headset. So this is pretty much inspired by cathedrals, hence why I did call it a cathedral. There are certain limitations based on how windows work on round walls. I ended up having to use angled walls. I decided to do this once the castle kit came out. I already did a practice build using and looked at a lot of inspiration on Google Images and Pinterest of that, of cathedrals and that. So I actually took care and thought into this build. The back part where the angled walls, most cathedrals, blueprints I looked at, pictures, a lot of that is round. The windows in the castle kit, especially the larger windows that I use, do not work on the round walls, which to me is a shame, and also to me shows that a feature introduced that, yes, is buggy, is not being utilized or very much continued with as new kits and DLC come out. Through my editing, I did cut out a lot of repetitive placements, so you won't see a lot of the benches being put down, carpeting, lighting. When I did some changes to windows, I cut that as well. But I actually very much enjoyed doing this build. It was actually fun. And I did try to I edited it out when I did the exterior, a lot of the placing ivy and all that. So you also don't see that I used 2 different wallpapers of the stone, one with the grass in it, one without. And I tried to put the grass ones where I wanted to put ivy. Here I'm putting one of the fences. I'm using it in more of the stone form, and then I put the thing you put on top of fences across the top of it. I am drawing a complete blank on the word. I had it earlier, and these things happen. Oh, and I also edited out me deleting the floor throughout all those little chambers, so you don't get to see that over and over again. I'm building this in Windenburg on the largest lot that is usually home to a family. I wanted to have space to add some stuff to each side. It was built as a residential lot, but when I uploaded it to the gallery, I converted it to a wedding venue. Purpose I did it this way is because I was planning to set up an altar at the one end of the church where I had a lot of the candles from Eco Lifestyle, which when you have cheats enabled, you can change the heights. I leave in kind of the end result and some final changing further in the video where I've changed the heights of candles, but again, I edited a lot of that out. I figured, especially with my editing, with the repetitive, a lot of the repetitive stuff, I did try to edit that out. I'm gonna say more older kind of feel to the build. I didn't put any electric lights. All the lighting in this build are candles. There are wall sconces from the Vampire Pack and chandeliers from the Vampire Pack that are candles that I chose to use. To me, it felt a little bit more it kept the atmosphere. A lot of the lights that you see in the other builds, the regular electrical, they seemed a little bright. This front area, as you see me here kind of cutting off this little smaller shape, is a platform. So it is raised up as it's the center, the point. And in this case, I used more of the wood fence version to create a division. And yes, there is a lot of columns. And by deleting the wall, some of the columns got turned, so I could have deleted. I deleted the ones that turned when I deleted the wall, because the other ones took the ones I had placed, but when the wall was there on the other side, kind of took that up. Here I am doing all the outside wallpaper and seeing some of the columns on the outside, which I eventually go through and find that they're missing, replace them on the inside. Like I said, it's going to be a wedding venue. I set it up as if it's getting ready for a wedding. There'll be a wedding arch and some flowers along the sides. The roofing, because I did a practice one, I cut out the octagonal roof part, because much like in the practice one, it took a long time to get it to fit correctly. So we're going to go from seeing me place it to having it fitting perfectly in the right spot. I end up moving the one roof back a bit because it was peeking out. So let's talk about the castle kit. I feel it is a build kit, and that's what it was marketed as. That's what we picked when we were given the choice between castle and future. But I feel it's missing stuff. There's so little decorations in the base game and in the expansions that scream castle interior. Yes, we can get custom content to do it. I try to keep custom content and mods to a minimum. Currently, the only mod I have on my game is MC Command Center, but I will be downloading the mods to get rid of the shopping cart icon. And since I've brought up the shopping cart icon, let's just add a little discussion. I play many games that have an in-game shop. World of Warcraft, Star Trek Online, they have in-game shops. They are a part of the interface. However, they are not big round buttons like we have in The Sims 4. To be honest, I honestly forget about the one in World of Warcraft because it's just part of the small menu bar. Offside, if you've never played it, it's just a small triangle where you can click on your character's sheet, find a group. It's all in that same area. The Star Trek Online, you can see it because it has the premium currency and it says store beside it. But it's small there. EA is a company, they are trying to make money. So I cannot blame them for adding this. I don't think it was the idea of the development team. I think it probably came from somewhere further up in the chain. Especially considering the base game is now free to play. And that's all I'm going to say about it. However, I will state in my next video that's a speed build, I will have a link to whichever mod I am using to get rid of the shopping cart. So if you want to download it and have that in your game, if you can download mods. I feel bad for you console users. So here I edited out the entire changing of the upper windows. I had originally used just the straight square ones. Then I decided to change them to the curved ones. And they are all the plain version of the windows. Yes, they did come with stained glass ones. And thinking back now, I've already uploaded this build to the gallery, which if you haven't been on the Sims gallery and tried finding any of my builds, it's under my ID on there, which is Quacky958. And I now think I should have switched at least a couple of the windows to stained glass. It would have actually fit with the Cathedral build, the inspiration I have. We can see me adding the chandeliers. And like I said, they are all I felt they felt more in line with what the inspiration of the build was. And I put these wall sconces, and eventually we're just going to cut to something else because I did not want you to see me placing all these wall sconces and all the benches. That took a good amount of time to place all of these. I figured the benches, especially the ones on the wings, I figured that's where the choir sits. And I figured you had to have the pipe organ. It made the most sense in the cathedral. For the stand that would be used in a typical cathedral for the Bible, I chose the book stand that came with the Vampires pack. And then I place... Well, you can see that I'm placing in rugs now. We'll cut to a different part in a few seconds, with most of the rugs placed in. Through my practice build, I found that rugs are layers, and if you did do the branches of the T first, and they would end up coming down on top of the aisle carpet. So be aware of that when you do your builds. So here we are. I've decided to put the altar at the end of the church. I chose to use these stone shelves type things from the Desert Lux because they fit. And like I said, I cut out me placing all those candles. Don't ask how many there are. Tried to pick different sizes, and here you can see me changing the heights and how much the candles are burnt down, and going through and extinguishing a few just to kind of give it look like they've been in use and all that. And here's an example of, like I said, as you can see, the carpet I put lengthways instead of not in line with the aisle is on top of the other one. And here's me picking out the archways. I decided to, like I said, I set it up as a wedding venue. Originally, I was going to do it as if there was a funeral going on and use one of the coffins from the Vampire Pack as the coffin for the deceased. But then I realized would be more something you'd do for a Halloween build. I did this, and this part of the build was done earlier in the week before the update. And I had moved the castle to the center of the lot. And it's daytime. When we cut to the next part of the video, when I'm recording it later, it's nighttime. I forget to change the lighting. And I added those because that fencing, the ones that look like the top of the castle walls, if you don't add that underneath, it kind of sticks out a bit. It looks a little weird. So here we are terraforming. Where I'm terraforming was where I had moved the cathedral to. And then I decided I wanted to have it raised up just a little bit. So we get to watch me do terraforming, which is, I will state, is not one of my strong suits when it comes to builds. It's something I do need to work on. I kind of flatten out a large area. Once I've moved the cathedral, I go back through with the smooth out the terrain. And moving it, I love what happens where you see the cathedral move and then the lighting updates. So here's me smoothing out the terrain so we don't have to worry about all the area. I just wanted to make sure it sat up a bit higher. Partially because I wanted to have one side be where the dinner, I figure it was the wedding that was going on when I was building it, was a morning wedding. So the dinner was being done as a luncheon. And because it's at a church, I use the folding tables and folding chairs. Which I've cut out most of that, placing most of that. Here we are doing some more training. I wanted a pond. And the pond was just a little too deep when I did the terrain paint. The terraforming, the terrain paint comes next. The terrain paint, I also edit out a good portion of it. Because I discovered that one of the terrain paints was mud after I put the sand in, and you'll see me switch to it. And also lighten up the brush. Yes, it ends up being the entire pond being looking like dark mud. I wanted it to look like mud and sand mixed together, but I overdid the painting. Here's where it's like just the brush is set to one thing, and then I light it, and I find that's what I want. But then I overpaint. Right at the edges, you still get the bit of the sand showing through, which actually I liked. I liked how it looked. Then we get into putting in the plants, the trees, and all that. So this is the side where the banquet will be held. You'll see a screenshot at the end of the pond and how I finished it. You'll see the table set up. One of the things I would love is decoration bits of the folded table folded up, and the folding chairs that you get, I can't remember in which expansion pack, folded up so you can have them sitting in rooms as like I would use some of the upper rooms as storage in the cathedral's towers. I left the top floor completely empty. I figured that's where the bells, because we do not have a bell in it in games. There is no bells in there. I wish there was a bell. This is an example. I think I would have rather the castle kit be done as a medieval stuff pack, so you can get some extra stuff with it, some more buy objects. So here's decorating up the pond, trying to get it. I want the edge of the pond to still be visible, so unlike some of my previous ponds where I literally just put this stuff all along the edge, I kind of spaced it out this time. I added a few more rocks, and also because these items tend to float, that's why I tried to stick closer to the water. Some of the items I tried, I don't know if they got cut out or not. Trying to place them, they end up look like they're floating over the water. And because I do not have the tool mod and I'm not too comfortable with it, I wouldn't be able to add it in. Like the item I just was doing, I'm like pointing at the screen and you guys can't see me point. So yeah, I added a bunch of these lovely things, and since I take my screenshots in live mode, you'll actually see the swans on the water. You can see the fireflies at night because, well, I had to freeze my Sims needs and run and fast forward until the day so you can actually see the outside. On the other side of the church, I put in a graveyard. I used the decorative gravestones that came with the vampire pack, and I kind of switched between three of the color swatches. I figure the white tombstones are the more recent, and they kind of get dirtier, representing the age, and they're kind of spread out throughout the graveyard. So this is the area that I eventually put as the garden area. There, I do train paint. I cut out of a dirt path, kind of leading away from the church, where I stuck some benches from the romantic garden. Eventually, I pick a few other items out as well. So here, I use the fence from vampires to make the area where the graveyard is, as well as the matching gate, because I felt that was the more appropriate. Like, this is. Yes, it's a wedding venue, but it's to breathe more life, because it's more out. This is more a cathedral further out. It's not in the city, so you could have the graveyard beside it. And more trees, because everyone loves greenery. And yes, I know the intro was a little bit on the slow side, because it was just me attempting to use the in-game camera angles, and because it moved so quickly, I slowed it down to spread it out a bit more. So if you made it this far, I'm hoping you've enjoyed the build. Like I said, I'm trying to take my YouTube channel a bit more seriously. So having people subscribe, like my videos, leaving comments will help. So now you can see this is where I'm placing in all the tombstones. And like I said, I picked different shades of the plate to look like they're older. And at first I kind of started sticking to the edges. I'm like, oh no, I need some in the middle as well. So that's why you start seeing some different ones coming in. And I'm actually happy with this build. I kind of wanted to turn a few of them around, but I realized a couple of them look like they have writing on them. It wouldn't make sense to have the tombstone in facing the opposite way. I will state, this was a very fun build. I kind of enjoyed the inspiration that I got. I have plans for a build using the new Crystals kit. I am kind of happy that they're expanding on older collections. I think some of the older skills could use a refresh and get some other stuff added to them, some decorative stuff and that to help kind of make it so it feels like each one has it. Yes, there's the new decor item that looks like tools that you can put over a wood shelf, but we should have had something like that ages ago for the handiness skill. Just like I think there should be some more artist type stuff to go with the painting skill, since there wasn't much. And here's the folding tables and all that on the other side. There's a couple of items here added from another one. One of the items I added was one of the decorative wine. Well, I call it wine, but the juice boxes from country from the horse pack. I'm not even gonna try to figure out remember the name of it at this time. So yeah, this is just me kind of setting it up. Like I said, those are all like the folding tables, folding chairs. I figured it wasn't their stuff provided by the church. I figured the Sims here, one of them is probably a member of who attends services here at the cathedral. So them getting these services, and like I said, here's where you can see I added terrain paint to other areas, and just kind of left it out. Like you won't see the terrain paint being added underneath the benches and trees. And I felt it needed something a little bit more to the back here. I thought about adding that decor item, but no. And a couple of the rooms are empty. There's a few other items that aren't here. And now we're moving into screenshots. So until my next build, I will see you.